triathlon I've ever done. I did the Bali race a couple months ago, but that's about half this distance. So I think that's the trick, is staying hydrated and managing the heat.
One of those people managing the heat and one of the identities taking part in the half MetaMan is Philippine Senator Pia Catiano.
I've been doing it for a couple of years, and it's part of what helps me balance my life. I have what I think is a pretty stressful job, so I like to go away once in a while for the weekend and do this. It's a healthier way of de-stressing as far as I'm concerned. I train from the house, so I have a 2-year-old boy, and when I'm training indoor, like on my bike, like he's playing around just nearby. And both my 2 older girls love sports. They both play varsity soccer, so you know, we just support each other, and I think it's a good thing for parents to show their kids. It's a good diversion. It's a good pastime. The half Ironman is the distance that I like to do. So I'm pretty much in half Ironman shape the whole year round. I can pretty much do this almost any time. I just have to fine-tune my training. If it's an A race for me, if I want to do really well, then a few weeks, like 6 weeks before, I have to pick up my speed work on all 3 sports. But otherwise, I'm in pretty good shape to do this distance any day. I learned the love of sports from my dad, who passed away. He was also a senator. He was a senator before me, so he's my inspiration. And when I'm on the bike, you know, I'm always grateful for being able to do this and to promote fitness and health. I'm basically a health advocate, and that's what I push for legislation-wise in my country. So I'm always, you know, humbled that I have the opportunity to enjoy my good health. My father did pass away from a very debilitating disease. He had liver cancer, and I also lost a son to a rare chromosomal disorder. So it's very personal to me, and when I'm out there, I'm just grateful that the rest of my family is healthy. I'm happy that I have this opportunity, and I know that when people see me, especially in my country where, you know, I'm fighting for women empowerment, they shout "babae, babae," which means a girl, like there's a girl on the bike. And I'm just really, like I said, happy and humbled that I have this opportunity to, you know, to maybe inspire young kids and inspire other people to be healthy and you know, to just do their best.
Well, they say that the longest journey starts with the first steps, and a lot of the competitors here in the MetaMan half are taking their first steps on the ladder of triathlon. Big numbers here as we get set for the mass start, and away they go. 2 kilometres of swimming, 90 kilometres of cycling, and then a half marathon, 21.1 kilometres of running to end their afternoon. So coming out towards the end of the swim, and this is Michael Bukic from Slovakia. Now, he has lived and breathed triathlon most of his life. His father was the founder of the Slovakian Triathlon Union back in the 80s. So he is a world-renowned age group competitor. He is first out through the footpath, and then it's a small jog down to transition. And away they go. Disc wheel on the back of Bukic's machine.
This course has been said that it's one to survive and not sort of to get your personal best. Do you agree with that, or do you think that you are going out for your personal best?
No, I'm not going out for my personal best, but I'm told that it's a hilly rolling course, which I kind of like. So it's not as if like I think I won't do good. I think I'll be okay, but yeah, it's not the course where you'll be like, it'll be your best, because it's rolling hills.
So back onto the rolling hills of Bintan Island. This is the MetaMan. This is the full iron distance race. And this is the lady that led out of the swim. This is Lucy Velenkova, originally from the Czech Republic, now residing in South Africa. And she had a good lead, but is being hunted down by the rest of the female competitors, and they're mixing it up with the very best of the men's competitors as the crowds get excited as these bike riders pass one of the scenic villages here on this 90-kilometre loop. This is Brett Carter. Now, he looks like he's starting to struggle a bit here, Chris Pallone.
Well, he's just on a small rise there.
Well, he's certainly not struggling because he goes past Aaron Farlow here. So these guys have been leapfrogging first and second place for the best part of this lap. And Farlow, now, is he going to chop down and try and follow, or is he content to just sit back and just think that he's probably got better running legs than Brett Carter and he can do the job?
They'll probably just, just swap over the lead from now till the end of the bike, just stay outside the draft zone and just alternate the lead.
Belinda Granger here from Australia, and this is her chosen discipline, if you like. She is a phenomenal cyclist.
Yeah, very, very strong cyclist, Belinda. Very close to fastest bike splits in all the long distance races she does.
Now this is Candice Hammond. Now she's been chasing from a long way back. She gave the top women competitors the best part of 7.5 minutes out of the swim. Not a good swim for her, but man, she is piling it on here on the bike, Chris. She is eating up the ground.
Yeah, she had a reasonably slow transition. I noticed she took on a lot of fuel in transition, so she's well prepared for the whole distance.
This is Sorma of Hungary. So the leading ladies of this group are 3rd, 4th, 5th back, still quite close. Now let's talk a little bit about nutrition, because it's so important, isn't it, in iron distance racing?
Yeah, definitely. You can see Belinda Harper there with 3 bottles on her bike there, and she can obviously pick up extra fluid or extra energy drinks at aid stations.
It is getting interesting here at MetaMan 2012. We are 1 lap down on the bike course with the full marathon to come. Stay with us. Welcome back to Bintan Island for the MetaMan 2012. Quick recap of what we've seen already. Brett Carter from the Gold Coast in Australia was first out of the water and onto the 180-kilometre bike ride. First in the women was Lucy Zelenkova from the Czech Republic. Carter had it all his own way until halfway through lap number 1, and then he had company in the form of Aaron Farlow. Meantime, in the women's race, Belinda Granger was into her work as the half Ironman got started off the beach in Bintan. First out of the water was Mikhail Bukic from Slovakia. He leads the half Ironman as we go back in real time to the iron distance and Kelly.
Welcome back. We're just a couple of kilometres north of the turnaround point where our full distance athletes have embarked on their second lap of the bike ride. 90 kilometres to go, and of course they're going to push on. There's been a little bit of respite in the shape of this lovely breeze, but it could also bring a threat of rain. However, they will still persist. They'll be heading to the transition point to go into the 42-kilometre full marathon run. Now, for most of us, that marathon would prove quite a stretch, but for these guys, this is where the real Ironman begins.
So this is Farlow from Australia. Now he's been leapfrogging between himself and Brett Carter all the way through the first of the 90-kilometre laps.
Yeah, we carry a few water bottles with us, and there's a lot of aid stations around the course. Like every 20 to 30 kilometres there's an aid station, so we just try and make the most of that. Every time there's an aid station we stop and get something to eat and drink, and just make sure that we're well hydrated and we can get through the rest of the day, because it's got the potential to be quite dangerous as well. So we just want to be as safe as we can and get through the race.
So Farlow, now is he making his bid here, Chris? We know that he can run when he's up to his best. He's a very good runner.
Well, they're reasonably close together here, so it looks like these 2 guys they're going to be virtually coming to the transition together. So there's not going to be a significant breakaway on the bike.
Well, I think you picked it dead right, Chris Malone, because I just saw Aaron Farlow have a sneaky look behind just to see where this guy was. This is Brett Carter. This is an amazing story. He has cashed in his chips as a full-time lifeguard on the Gold Coast in Australia to be a professional triathlete. Man, this guy is a professional triathlete as well. Another one that's decided to pursue racing as his career. This is Carl Reed from New Zealand. And in behind him, a triathlete's triathlete in Petra Varbasek from the Czech Republic. What a story this guy has got. So this is the chasing group, if you like. And Belinda Granger in that group as well. Well, Chris, that just shows how strong a cyclist she is.
Yeah, very strong cyclist, Belinda, and keeping the top men honest.
So the men come back into transition. They're 180 kilometres done, and it is Carter that will hand off his bike first. Aaron Farlow just jogs in behind him.
and $15,000 for your
You know,
first
Chris, we're
winner.
used to seeing in the ITU races a transition in the blink of an eye. You'd be excused for thinking this one might take a little while longer, especially if you don't get your special needs bag. Well, still to come in MetaMan 2012 is the 42.2 kilometre circuit that is the full marathon. Let's have a quick look at it. After leaving transition, they run along the beachfront until they start the jungle track, and that is where they'll find the first aid station. Then it is on to the jungle track and then through around the coastline and back towards the Marang Sarai Villas at around about the 5.6 kilometre mark. There's another aid station there. In fact, there's aid stations every 1.5 kilometres. One more U-turn to go. That makes up the 7 kilometres. That is the marathon run.
The run's the most important leg of the race, no doubt about it. It's 42 k's, so you know, if you can't run for 42 k's, it's a long walk. So you know, a 3-hour run could turn into a 6 or 7 hour walk. So you know, everyone tries to conserve a little bit of energy for that. You know, the last 42 k's.
So we are on to the run course. This is number 36. This is Brett Carter from Australia. And he has eked out a bit of a lead here, Chris Pallone, on Aaron Farlow.
Yes, even early in the run, it's a little bit of a gap there, and Aaron not looking too good.
Well, as a coach of Triathlon New Zealand, you'll know exactly what these guys are going through here. They've prepared for this long and hard. It's a full iron distance race, but sometimes the wheels fall off, and they fall off pretty dramatically, and it looks like that's what's happening to Aaron Farlow. This is Carl Reid back in transition, so he's had a storming bike ride to come through in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely a good ride. Being careful with his transition there, a little bit of cooling there, and he's ready for a good run.
Well, we should probably talk about the cooling because it is getting a little bit warmer. We've had some rain throughout the bike course as Belinda Granger comes in. Now she is the leader in the women's competition. We would have expected that. Such is the power of her cycling. But now, can she run a full marathon?
Well, she can definitely run a full marathon. It's a question of how fast she runs it.
Every single athlete out there needs some sort of intrinsic motivation to help them get to that finish line, and you've got to know what that is well before you actually get to race day. And for me, my husband and I are staying 2 days in Singapore post-race in a lovely hotel, and we decided to do that to shout ourselves. So now I want to have a good race, I want to race well, so that I feel like I deserve these two days in this lovely hotel in Singapore. So as silly as they may sound, when you're out there racing and feeling really bad, they make a huge difference.
Well, other athletes coming in. Justin Granger, that's Belinda's husband, sitting down beside her, and Fred Cronenberg. We saw him have a puncture, so he's recovered well as they prepare for the full marathon run. And the swimmers are just back from the half. This is Mikel Bukek from Slovakia. He led out of the water. Just going to his transition bag now. Conditions heating up, not only for these guys about to face a 90-kilometre bike ride, but spare a thought for the iron distance athletes. They're going to be out there for a full marathon run, 42.2 kilometres. This is Pia Catiano. She has negotiated the swim course, and she is about to head out onto the bike.
There are times definitely that not give up, stop, but like, can I just slow down? Can I walk? Can I take a break and fan myself? My inspiration is, I tell myself, run fast, Pia, run fast. You didn't join this race to go slow today, you know. So then I tell myself, if you have to eat, then eat. You know, I try to think it through logically. What do I need to do to push myself? And if I know it's just psychological, just because it's so hot and there's not much more I can really do, it's uphill, it's a tough course, then mentally I push myself. I think of my children. I think of my family, actually, that they're proud of me. And then I tell myself, I freaking worked so hard for this, so can I just please go a little bit faster?
So Pia about to head out on her 90-kilometre journey. That is the cycle course for the half MetaMan. Meantime, in the iron competition, the last time we looked anyway, it was Australia's Brett Carter out in the front from Aaron Farlow. Farlow looked like he was just starting to suffer a little bit on the marathon course as we rejoin the iron distance athletes. And this is Brett Carter, and Chris Pallone, run your coaching eye over him. Does he look good?
Looks really good, and being real careful to take in a lot of fluid as well. Water in cups and sponges.
Well, the athletes are quite lucky here at Bintan because a large proportion of the run course is run under the shelter of the trees and the resorts. Here is Aaron Farlow. Compare the condition of the two athletes, Chris.
Quite a short stride, his head's down, looking a bit tense, just looks tired.
He does. He looks like he's thinking about something, and I don't think it's about putting one foot in front of the other, because that's what he's got to do for the best part of 3 hours.
Well done, Freddie.
This is Freddie Cronenberg from Switzerland. And this man, this is Peter Vabrasek from the Czech Republic. Now, he is an Ironman's Ironman. He has competed in 86 international Ironmans in his triathlon career, and in 66 of those, he has finished in the top 10. He races because he loves to race. Justin Granger following Vabrasek there. Now, Vabrasek, if you think you need to taper and come into an iron distance race in fresh conditions, spare a thought for Peter Vabrasek, because he's just completed a 100-kilometre ultra race back home where he finished second place. This isn't second place in the women's, this is the leader. This is Belinda Granger. Now 40 years of age, multiple Ironman champion right around the world, Australian Ironman Hall of Fame inductee. And this could be the surprise here, Chris Pallone. This is Candice Hammond from New Zealand, and look at the freestyle that she's running with.
Yeah, and she definitely looks to be making a little bit of inroads into Belinda's lead as well.
This is Erika Samor from Hungary, so she'd be the fourth or third woman on the course at the moment. Another one that's had a pretty good bike ride after coming back from a deficit in the swim. But she is now onto her strongest distance, and that is the run. She is a past 7-time champion of the Powerman Zofingen, rumoured to be the hardest and toughest duathlon in the world. Plenty of action still to come here at the MetaMan. The men in the iron distance race are out on the course. The finish is coming up soon. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Our elites are doing exceptionally well to keep ahead of time. They made good time going into the bike race and coming into the run as well. Brett Carter from Australia led in the swim, he led in the bike race, and he's currently leading in the run 6 minutes ahead of everyone else at the 20-kilometre mark. Now, as you can see from this rather empty transition area, that the half Ironman athletes are doing well too. They've just moved on to their bike race, 90 kilometres. Following that, they'll be going into the half marathon as well. It's just starting to rain, so it looks like things are going to get pretty interesting.
Early going in the women's section of the MetaMan, and this is the change for the lead, because Candice Hammond from New Zealand has gone past this woman. This is Belinda Granger, and this is the fine style of Candice Hammond, originally from Gisborne on the North Island of New Zealand, now residing in the Waikato. She does all sorts of things to supplement her income as a professional triathlete, including shearing sheep. Aaron Farlow is in a world of hurt. This is a bad sign, Chris Pallone, walking through the aid stations.
Yeah, definitely walking, and not at halfway in the run yet either.
Well, it has all got to be a little bit too much for Aaron Farlow. Came into this event after a very successful training camp in Switzerland. With this man, this is Brett Carter, part of the team TBB. Carter just continues on his winning way.
Yeah, he's got a big lead and is running comfortably.
So down towards the finish line. First time as a professional triathlete in an iron distance race. He's an age group champion in the Cairns Ironman earlier this year. He raced in Melbourne as well, but he has won the MetaMan for 2012. Brett Carter from Australia, with a winning time of 8 hours, 43 minutes and 58 seconds, makes history on the island of Bintan in Indonesia. So if we have a look at the official results, it is Brett Carter from Australia in first place, Sweden's Freddie Cronenberg in second in 8 hours 59.10, and in third place it is the veteran Petra Vabrasek from Czechoslovakia, 9 hours 7 minutes and 33 seconds. Fourth place is New Zealand's Carl Reid in 9 hours 9 minutes and 8 seconds. So the spoils of the victory go to Australia's Brett Carter, his first win as a professional here at Bintan.
Brett, firstly, congratulations. That was a grueling race. How do you feel?
Yeah, pretty ecstatic. Can't complain with that. Very tough race, gorgeous island, and yeah, I'm absolutely wrapped. So.
Now you were leading the whole way, but there was a point sort of in the run where you could see that you were definitely pulling out the lead. Aaron couldn't quite keep up pace with you. What was going through your head then?
I knew with the heat and conditions like this, it's never in the bag, and I was just concentrating on making sure I stayed hydrated and keeping saying to myself, keep drinking, stay on top of it. It's a tough day, you don't want to cramp, so that was the main thing. And when I pulled out about a 3 kilometre gap, I was feeling pretty confident.
So this is the winner of the women's section of the MetaMan 2012, New Zealand's Candice Hammond. Her winning time, 9 hours 31 and 8 seconds. She took the win after a storming run of 3 hours and 20 minutes. Good enough for her to register her first full iron distance race win here in Indonesia. So Candice Hammond picks up her first win as a professional triathlete. In second place it is the Australian veteran Belinda Granger, and in third place it is Hungary's Erika Samoa. Fourth place went to Katja Raba, and in fifth it was New Zealand's Belinda Harper.
Candice, congratulations. What a finish. How do you feel?
Pretty exhausted, but good, happy, yeah. And a little bit surprised, you know, I knew it was a tough field out there today, so I tried just to focus on my own race, and yeah.
Yeah, well, you managed to upset top favourite Belinda. How does that feel?
Belinda Harper? Yeah, no, I'm good friends with Belinda, so, you know, I hope she's still having a good race out there, really, and I don't know, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. But.
So how did you manage to do it? I mean, you were down 10 minutes from Belinda Granger. Yeah. What happened there? I raced Belinda Granger a few times, and I knew if I could just work really hard on the run, I might have a chance. And so I wasn't too sure what pace to hold, but just went out there and went as hard as I could, and it was really difficult, hard course to run. But yeah, just managed to slowly work my way through, and yeah. Meta means beyond, and we've certainly seen our athletes push themselves beyond the limits of any normal human being. Through the challenging terrain and the tricky weather, these athletes have managed to push themselves with every stroke, every pedal, and every stride to the finish line of the full distance Ironman. But we now have to cross back to the course to check on the progress of the half distance Ironman.
Well, Kelly, there's been a few changes since you last left us, because we've got a new race leader in the men's section, and it is New Zealand's Leighton Matheson, now living in Singapore.
So you like the cycle leg?
Yeah, I love the bike course. I like
Why?
Yeah, I do like hills.
Oh, she's lying again. Yes.
No, I do.
Or a masochist, one of the two.
Not that you know it's easy, but I do better on hills than just flats. Because I train on hills, so I kind of like it.
Well, this is Leighton Matheson of New Zealand. He had the fastest bike split and the fastest run, and he's come through and won the MetaMan half here in 2012. And the ladies' winner coming across the line now is Janine Willis from Perth in Western Australia. So overall, we see that Leighton Matheson is the winner with a winning time of 4 hours 33 minutes and 52 seconds. From Mikhail Bukic of Slovakia, 4 hours 39.35. Bastian Doling from Singapore, one of the favourites, 4:49.56 for third. And the first of the women, Janine Willis of Australia.
So you've just finished the half distance.
Yes.
How do you feel, Leighton?
I feel pretty tired, to be honest. I'm really thrilled to get across the finish line. But to be honest, I'm feeling a bit spent.
What was the toughest bit about that course?
I think the toughest thing, interestingly enough, was about halfway through the bike. The hills just were unforgiving. They just kept coming and coming and coming. And it was really, really tough. And by that stage, it was getting hot and getting pretty windy. It was just a hard course.
So the MetaMan Bintan for 2012 is over. And as the sun begins to set, it's a chance for the elites to reflect not only on their race, but also the race. For Aaron Farlow, things didn't go as planned, and it did not finish wasn't what he was looking for.
it's actually been quite a good weekend. I didn't have a good race, but you know, the weekend's been great. We've been looked after. It's just unreal for the first event. I think the race has actually gone off quite well, and you know, they can build a bigger event from there.
For Australian veteran and Ironman Hall of Famer Belinda Granger, it's all about your best performance. And for Belinda, on most occasions, that means a win. But not here at Bintan.
Candice caught me, but once she caught me, you know, mentally it's just so difficult to keep it going, and I knew I had second place sewn up. You know, I'm 42, I've been in the sport for over 20 years, and for me to still finish runner-up at a race, I'm happy. Now, for some people, maybe that's not good enough, but for me, where I am in my career at the moment, I'm still satisfied. Anytime I can finish on the podium, I'm happy.
And happiness is what it's about for all the field.
Well, the sun has set here on Bintan, and it's also set on the inaugural edition of the MetaMan Bintan 2012. We've seen some outstanding performances from our elite and age groupers categories alike, and each one of them pushing that little bit harder to make sure that they cross that finishing line. The course wasn't an easy one, but at least the athletes can say that they conquered it. Well, that's it from us here today, but we will see you for the next edition of MetaMan.